Junior want to not be on my I can't really see what did I miss. Ex-strippers.
Hey guys, come on in. We're back for another My Life Has Changed Part 2. Before we get started, go ahead and click the bell for notifications. Give the video a thumbs up. Engage with me down in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. I've been falling off, so I lost some people. But due to my situation, you guys, we'll be back with regular content going forward. So yay! All right, so if you haven't watched part 1, you may want to go back and watch part 1 so you know what we're talking about in part 2. Okay, so this one maybe is going to be a good one, y'all. So I got my little juice right here. Get you some popcorn or whatever you want to get, so y'all can go ahead and sneaky snack while y'all listen. Okay, so I believe where I left off at was the supervisor was trying to like push the rules on us. So as I mentioned, let me do this before I start. As I mentioned, I really wasn't going to tell this story because of the sensitive nature of it. And I have a diverse amount of people from all walks of life and all race, religion, and even gender on my platform. So some things I need to stay away from, but this was a part of my life, and I feel like you guys are family. So this was a part of my life for something that I went through, and you never know what you may go through. It has nothing necessarily to do, this one does deal with race, but you could be discriminated against for your gender or your sexuality. You never know where you're going to find yourself in. And when I tell you to be honest, it is the most uncomfortable thing to ever go through. And honestly, you really have to think if you want to pursue it. Isn't that something? So let me start here before I jump right into the story. This part of the story is where it escalated, where we decide to be a little vocal. First of all, I'm the type of person I don't necessarily like confrontation, but when it needs to be something, I don't like confrontation, but when it gets confrontational, it's going to get confrontational. I'm the type of person, I can roll stuff off my shoulder, but when I feel like I need to say something, I'm going to say it. And I'm going to be vocal. I'm going to be bold. You're going to see another side of me that you have not seen. I read between lines. I know how to ask the right questions, and I know how to push you up against the wall and make you feel some type of way about your actions, regardless if you want to admit it or not, or take accountability. I'm not going to act like you're not doing what you're doing. We're not going to play dumb because you have brought me to the point where I have to direct it, and you're not going to gaslight me. We're not going to skip around the mulberry bush and play games. We're going to come direct with it because your actions that you're doing are direct, and I'm going to call it out for what it is. And so we decided to finally say something. So the supervisor was walking up on us when we were having conversations, but only he would walk up on the black people. He would not do the same for the white people. And it was so in your face. It was almost infuriating. It was so in your face. It's different when somebody's doing something and it's kind of subliminal and you don't know. But this was straight up in your face. I'm treating you guys a certain way and I'm treating them a different type of way. And it is what it is. You're either going to be mealy-mouthed and not say something and be intimidated by it, or you're going to say something and we're going to see how it go if you do say something. And so I didn't really I didn't know that it was discrimination, you guys. Like, I didn't until I talked to my sister. Y'all know Trey Bow. I talked to her and I told her what was happening. And she said, he's trying to intimidate y'all. He's using intimidation tactics. He's lightweight trying to bully you guys to get you to do what he wants you to do, or, you know, this, that, and so. She said, you really need to read your handbook. Now, one thing about Tracy, she works for a company and she knows that handbook, baby. She knows the policies, she knows the rules, and she knows the regulations. And that pushed me to get the new handbook. So the new handbook was issued out January. So we went from August to my God, December, we didn't say anything until about December. So when we finally decide to pursue even further, that's when I got the handbook, because I need to know what my rights are as a person, as an employee. What is my rights? You wrote this handbook out for your company to go by. So these are your rules. Then you have to abide by the rules that you set in place. And then some of the rules that you set in place are federal laws, things that you ain't even supposed to be doing. And so what we decided to do, before I'm the type of person, I'm going to go by the chain of command. So I'm going to come to you first. So me and my son and another coworker were in the break room. Now, mind you, we're all black. So we decided, hey, let's start going to lunch together. Like, all the white people would go to lunch together and order, DoorDash and all that different stuff. And we would kind of go our separate ways, except me and my son, and the other girl would go another way. But she said, well, let's start having lunch together. So we started having lunch together, not knowing that because she started connecting with us, she was going to get thrown in the mix too. Okay. So we go to lunch this particular day. Now, this day, there was a lot of stuff down in the shipping department that needed to be boxed up and labeled so it could go out of, it could be shipped out. Now, there was maybe 3 or 4 white people that were in the shipping department, and the 3 black people were running the machines. Now, when we would go and take, like, when I would finish like a skid, I would take the skid, you use this machine, you take the skid over there to the shipping department. Well, when I would go over to the shipping department, honey, they were leaning on the box just chitty-chatting and you-da-looing and just bull crapping. And then one of the employees was sitting in the chair, honey, spinning, just having a good old time. They're not packaging nothing up. They're not checking it for quality. They're not putting no labels on it. They're not, stacking the skids. They're not doing anything. They're bull crapping, basically. And we're the only ones in there that's working. And so we go to lunch, and he comes into the break room. Once again, his regular routine, he's going to come into the break room. One thing about me, don't talk to me about work on my lunch break. If this is my lunch break, talk to me afterwards. Don't talk to me on my regular break about nothing job related. You could have got me well before. We've been here for 12 hours. I only got a half an hour. Don't come to me talking to me about nothing. So he decides to come in there, peek. He walks through one door. He goes out the other door. Then he comes back around. I don't know if he was coming in there to try to get us to say, well, come on, let's go back to work. No, we're on our half an hour lunch break. And as I told you, the company was very lax, so you take your lunch break whenever you want to. There, at that time, there was no scheduled lunch breaks. And so he decides to come back in there, and he says, hey, when you guys get off a lunch break, and we're just looking at him at this time with this dead face, like, bruh, you couldn't have waited to us to get off a lunch break. Heck, it's only a half an hour in the warehouse. They only give you a half an hour lunch break, which I don't understand, but it is what it is. And so he said, can you guys go to the shipping department and help them pack? And so by this time, we're here. We're here on the bull crap because it's so in your face. And my son, my oldest son, is the type, he's not going to hold his tongue. I used to have to calm him down. He's not going to hold his tongue. And so he says, and go there to help them do what? He said, can help them pack up. He said, why should we go down there and help them pack? Now, mind you, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably about 2 o'clock. So about 2:30ish, because we would take our lunch breaks late to make the day go faster. And we had been there since 7 o'clock. Mind you, they had been in the shipping department since 7 o'clock that morning and had not packed that stuff up. So what they would do was, when it was time to assign what everybody was going to do, they always assign them to go to the shipping department, because when you go to the shipping department, you don't have to log into any type of system. So it doesn't track what you're doing. But the black people, they will put us on the machines because we have to log in, and now we're being tracked on what productivity we're doing, how much footage we're running per hour. So we were always stuck on the machine, and they were always just free to do whatever. And so my son says, to help them do what? And he says, to help pack up. He said, why should we help them pack? And they've been down there since 7 o'clock. And so he said, well, what do you want to do? And then my son was like, nothing. He said, they're doing nothing, so how come we can't do anything? And so They were so lazy in the shipping department the day prior to that the supervisor started boxing up stuff. So my son tells him, he said, you was down there yesterday boxing up stuff and you shouldn't have had to been there boxing stuff up if you would make them work. Why is it that you don't make them do anything, but then when they fall behind, you try to come and ask us to do stuff? Baby, when I tell you, you know what his answer was, y'all? He laughed. Honey, let me sip this. That man laughed in our face until his face was this color. I lie not to you. I ain't lying to you. I ain't got time. I can come with other stories. I ain't got time to be lying about that. That man laughed in his face. And I told him, I said, so you're going to laugh at our concerns. We're coming to you as an employee, to a supervisor, letting you know what's going on, and you have the nerves to laugh in our face as if you ain't taking us serious. Okay. I told my son, be quiet. By this time, we're pissed. I ain't got nothing to say to you. Next level. Next mother-loving level, baby. I tried to give you a chance. He was like, well, I'll go out there. And when he seen we got serious, we were looking at him with this dead face. He was, well, I'll try to police the floor a little better. I said, we don't need no police in here. That ain't your job. I said, your job is to make sure that everybody's working. I said, I don't have a problem with doing my job, but I do have a problem with doing my job and somebody else's job. I said, I don't care what nobody else doing. You can do cartwheels in the middle of the floor, baby. I care not. I said, but I do have a problem when you doing cartwheels makes it where you're not doing your work and then you come find me to do your work. So now you want me to run a machine and in between time you want me to go pack up some stuff and come back and run a machine while a group of people are standing there doing nothing. Ain't gonna happen. He was like, could y'all please just go? I said, we'll see. So we get off lunch break. We didn't have that much stuff to run on the machine, but let me tell you something about me, baby. I can take 5 things and make it last all day. You hear me? I can bull crap. I can be the queen of bull crapping when I want to be the queen of bull crapping. So me and my son decided, we was like, all right, let's go over there and see what they got going on. So we walk over there and we start looking around to see what needs to be done. And they're all down there, right? So we start boxing, shifting the little stuff around. Why did they all scatter like roaches when the lights came on? By the time they seen us come over there, they decide we ain't got to really do nothing and walked the frick away. I looked at my son. I said, boop, not today. I said, you got me stuck. There's absolutely no way you're going to tell me to come help somebody pack up something and then the original person that's supposed to be doing going to walk away. No, ma'am, no, sir. If I come to help you, you better be sweating harder than me. I'll be dag-nabbit if I walk down there and bust my hump and you do nothing, baby, please. And you already was playing. That's what I get for going down there. So my son said, you know what? I got something for him. He had already been taking a bunch of notes, you guys. He had already been taking a bunch of notes. And honey, let me tell you something. Whenever you find yourself in a situation like this of discrimination or whatever level it is, document, mother-loving, document dates, times, names, who, what, situation, document. And you know what other thing is good? Recording on your phone. Conversations recorded on the phone. Everything's getting recorded, everything getting documented, because one thing I learned about words are invisible. And me and you having a conversation that is not recorded, honey, I don't care if I didn't ask, you didn't ask to be recorded, whatever. I ain't asked to be discriminated against neither. You said what you said, period. Take it up with the court of law if that's what you want to do. Honey, my son said, I'm taking it to the next level. So he decides like maybe the following week, I don't know what day it was, but we used to work like 2 days we work, 2 days we off, 3 days we work, 2 days we off. So it was that type of schedule. So he decided to go to HR and he just had like little things in a notepad. He took it to the HR lady, explained his concern to her. She said she would investigate it, check it out, woo, woo, woo. Let me tell you something about HR. A bunch of malarkey, honey. HR don't give a good god doggone about you. They don't care nothing about your mama, your brother, your sister, or none of that. HR, honey, is there for the company. That is it. That is all. Don't get caught up in their lack of concern, and don't get fooled by their concern, because their only concern is how can we keep this company from catching a lawsuit. That is it. That is all. But one thing they will look at is now, bing, you got a bullseye on your back because you complaining about something that we well know was going on. This type of favoritism and bias and discrimination have been going on in this company forever and a day, but nobody ever stood up. What they would do was they would quit, they would talk among themselves, or they would just blow it off and suck it up. But for us, we decided to take a stand. Let me tell you something about taking a stand, baby. I got so much respect for those that back in the day that were trailblazers. It is not easy being a trailblazer, because every target, every dart, every knife, every thing that they can do is coming straight for your head. Your character, your loyalty, they'll nitpick, they'll retaliate. I don't care if that handbook say you ain't supposed to retaliate. Everybody know the law. You ain't supposed to retaliate. Baby, they will retaliate. They will plot and plan on you. You're getting pulled in the office for bullcrap reasons. You're getting accused of this. You're getting written up for dumb reasons. All types of stuff. It takes a certain level of tenacity, honey, to be able to stand up for a cause, because you're not just standing for you, but you're standing for every other person that got wronged in that company from years back, even up into present, folks that you may not have known anything about, baby, and we busted wide the heck open. And it was stressful. Honey, I went to my doctor's office and he said, well, Sherry, how are you doing today? And honey, I just bust out crying. That man gave me Bible scriptures, honey, because my little clinic is like a little Christian clinic. And I needed that at the moment. So he went, and my son took his paperwork that he had and went and told the HR lady. She said, well, let me just get a little copy of your notes. I said, don't give her a copy of nothing. He said, I'll bring it. He told her, I'll bring it back to you. I said, don't give her a copy of nothing. I said, we're going to make sure that it's laid out, because he just had scribble stuff. We're going to make sure it's laid out. So he gave her, typed some things up. He gave it to her. She was like, okay, I'm an investigator or whatever, and we'll see what's going on and da-da-da-da-da, and we'll get back with you, baby. They did their little investigation and come to find, now these people were taking cigarette breaks, honey. You're worried about me taking my half an hour lunch, and sometime maybe we would take 5-10 minutes over, who knows. But these people were taking, I think one time maybe 9 cigarette breaks a day. And that was on an easy day. For 10-15 minutes out of the day. When I say 9, and let me tell you something, we had a little key fob thing. So you had to hit the little key fob when you come back in. Baby, by the time they pulled all the clocks, even the supervisor had a bunch. Why is all these people outside of all this time? But this don't have nothing to do with discrimination by the company. Y'all was only concerned because now, why is all these people taking breaks and not working? So you ain't even dealt with discrimination. You haven't even dealt with the fact that everybody that's taking a bunch of breaks is white people, and then the black people are working. You ain't dealing with that. You just worried that you mad because they ain't working. No, you need to, it's more than that. This is just one of the scenarios. Honey, so she was supposed to get back with him. We didn't see that woman for about 2+ weeks. And when we did see her, she scurried past him. I said, oh, so you don't want to do nothing. Okay, next level. I said, I got something for them. Who owned this company? Honey, it ain't nothing but a Google search. I said, I don't have time to be playing with these low-level people. I'm going straight for the top. I try to give you an opportunity. I'm not going to chase you down. I already told you. You saw me in the hallway. You ducked your head and went the other way. Baby, by the time I took my tail and wrote this long, dear Mr. So-and-so, honey, I gave his name his time. My name is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And we have been experiencing racial discrimination. Baby, I named every person, every situation. And one thing about me, baby, my strong part, my career mainly has been admin. So I am the queen of dictation. Baby, I don't know how many journal books I got with all the information in it. Honey, I gave every information, days, people, times, situation, scenario. I gave it all, baby, and sent it to him. The man, I guess he work up there in Michigan, sent it to him and CC'd y'all. You want to be CC'd on? I'm going to CC you on this sucker right here. Say I sent it on a Tuesday, baby. They had hauled folks down that highway, and we was in their office by Thursday. Yeah. The director of HR. Yeah. What we want to talk about here. Okay, so yeah. And I told him, I said, it's a shame that I'm having this conversation. And this was last year, 2023. In 2023, over some 1960 pre-Civil War type, pre-civil rights type stuff. This is where we're at in 2023. Really? Really, this is where we're at. Honey, I laid it out. My son laid it out as much as we could, baby. And I told you, words is invisible. Make sure you got your documentation. Honey, I put a recorder in my titty. Okay. Okay. So, baby, by this time, I don't know who let the word out. But by that next week, baby, everybody in their mammy in that company, night shift, morning shift, everybody knew we had blasted them out and called them to the carpet. Everybody getting investigated now. Everybody. But then, when you do it, and you open up that can of worm on some stuff that's been laying dormant, and ain't nobody having the balls to say nothing, you best believe, baby, here come the retaliation. And that be a mother. It take a whole lot of Jesus. It take a whole lot of restraint not to clown. It take a whole lot of tenacity and what this one lady calls stick and stay, to stay and weather that thing out. Because a job is a dime a dozen. But I was determined. I ain't moving. I was determined. I'm going to stay here to the end. Like I told the lady in HR, I'm not going nowhere. And I leaned in like I'm leaning in. I'm not going nowhere. They had nothing on me. My attendance was great. I'm not a late person. I don't do a bunch of call-offs. I ain't got no write-ups. I ain't got no disciplinaries. Until after all of this. So you guys, we're going to come back with part 3. Woo-hoo, baby. Part 3. On Monday. Baby, when it all broke open, that little part, I had to put the prayer warriors on the side. Man, let me tell you something. I don't know if you believe in the power of prayer, but I do. And baby, when your back is against the wall and you are David and this corporation is Goliath, you better get some backup people to come help you push through, baby. Because I had to pray. I said, God, this is a billion, hear me, $1 billion corporation. Hear me. I said, and me and my son are a drop in the bucket compared to this company. We are. I said, how is this gonna go? Because these people can have a panel of lawyers. And it's just me and him. Baby, I heard that scripture. It said, if God be for you, it's more than the world against you. And that thing proved out, baby. the ending, I was through. I said, go ahead, baby. Woo! So you guys go ahead and have an amazing weekend. Click the bell for notifications. Engage with me down in the comments, you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. It was raining here, but it stopped, and now it's cold. It's supposed to be warm. Who knows? That's bipolar Ohio, honey. And I will upload another video. Why? Because I'm unemployed and I got time. I'll upload another video on Monday, you guys. Have an amazing weekend. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Peace.